Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Wildland Recce, where today we're going to go over what's in your day pack. So today we're just going to discuss what's currently in my day pack after a hike up to the Raspberry Ridge, southern Alberta here. Did a day hike, kind of off in the middle of nowhere, but just an in and out day hike, and what I've got inside of this here pack. We're going to go over that today. So first, let's just talk about the pack itself. So I myself carry a 20-liter pack. I do have a few things in here that basically I feel that you should always have, especially if you're doing somewheres where you're going to be a remote. If you're not being so remote, then obviously you don't need so much kit. But obviously I'm not going over overnighting, backpacking. That's not what this is about. This is just a day hike. You and some friends, and you just want to be self-sufficient. So again, the pack itself, it's 20 liters, it's light, it's a good nylon that I've got here. I'm not an ultra light kind of guy, so for me, for the pack, you just got to be durable, not too big, and have a sternum strap. This is probably one of my couple of my key things for, again, just for a day pack. It does have a waistband on it. I don't use it a lot because there's not a lot of weight in here inside of this pack, and as well as the sternum strap keeps everything off, that weight off your shoulders, and kind of straps it around the front here. I find that really comfortable. On the outside for easy access, I basically have the an air horn. So if I encounter, let's say, a bear or some other wildlife, I want to let them know I'm there. It's quick and easy. It's just a matter of grabbing it and giving it a beep or a full long blast. That's usually pretty good. That's all you really need for most of the time for bears. But if you do need more, I've got a bear spray. I usually keep it in my thigh pocket and one of my cargo pockets on my right. You can get specific bear spray belts or holsters, lots of different things. The key with bear spray is having it easily accessible. Another thing I keep on the outside is just a flare kit. So this is a convenient little kit. It's on a beaner here. So if I ever need to do some signaling, I just got a couple of pen flares in here. So if I'm just trying to bring somebody into my location, there's a couple of pen flares that I can use. Not necessarily needed, but it's a nice added piece of kit. Doesn't weigh a lot. And then in this one pouch here, I only carry a couple things in here, and that's my belt knife, which it's either in here or it's on my waist. So I carry a D.H. Russell. Your ex-Canadian Army guys, you know what I'm talking about. Just a nice belt knife, not too big, but so you can do some tasks. You're probably wondering why have I got a carabiner on my belt knife. That's because I've seen people with their, some of those larger knives, and I've seen somebody fall off a quad and they actually impaled himself with the head of their the butt end of their knife right into their rib cage, break a couple of rib cages. So from then, it's always on a beaner. It's swivel. It's not going to catch on much, and it also saves this belt loop here, so it's not so fastened to your hip, and when you hit it, it doesn't rip off the belt knife. I just find that's super comfortable way to carry a belt knife. The other thing, we'll get into to meds, but just make sure you bring your personal meds. So whatever it is you need for your personalized issues, illnesses, etc., chronic stuff. I've just got some Tums. I just carry them on the outside there. After a spicy breakfast in the morning and a couple coffees, you might need a couple Tums. It's just something I carry, and I've got on the outside. Also carry a Bic lighter, which is just an easy access thing. It's just a small one. So getting on the inside of my pack here, let's have a look. Open this up. I do have a pair of gaiters, which I carry with me. I don't use them that often. I rarely actually use them, the kind of for those days where it's damp out. You're trying to protect the interface between your pants and your boots. So I do have a pair. Don't use them very often. Really good idea to do is spare clothing. So bring with you. So depending on the weather, the day. So this was just the other day, early spring. I already had a fleece on and my outer jacket, a shell jacket. So I had everything I needed, but then I had a toque just as an extra layer. So when it was cold and windy on top, I could fire that on, but maybe a pair of gloves, maybe another layer, maybe even a pair of socks if you're the potential of getting in muddy and wet conditions. The next thing is not necessarily a must-have, but is definitely a great idea to have with you on long trips. So it's a really good idea to have with you is a stove system. So you can geek right out on different stoves and get super lightweight and whatnot. The wife bought me this Primus Light for Christmas, so this is the one I currently use. I've had the old Coleman Feather Light for a million years and upgraded to this. So again, you know, it'd be nice to have a little smaller canister. I just haven't gone to go get one. And then just basically a boil water system. You can go anything from just bringing a pot with you, with whatever your liquid of choice is, whether it's coffee, tea, hot chocolate, etc. I carry a little pouch, and it's just an old Israeli army webbing pouch. I got it from a surplus store a million moons ago. And inside of here is my little brew kit. So first thing out of the top is just one of these dollar store Keurig cheater capsules. So you know the little Keurigs come already pre-packed, but this is one where you can actually fill it yourself, and it's got a really fine screen mesh on it. So if you want to bring some ground coffee with you, you can just pour your hot water through this into your cups after you boiled it, and then you're not making Ranger coffee or Cowboy coffee by just pouring the grinds in and then boiling or into boiling water. Yeah, so there, I bring that with me if I want to bring some fresh ground coffee or tea. I don't know, I've got some tea with me. So for my British friends, there's some Twinings. So I'm a big fan of English breakfast, Irish breakfast. So there you go. So bring your favorite tea, as well as, you know, a cup, very lightweight, but goes a long way, especially for carbon up, some cup of soups. So I bring those with me. So I've got a little bit of a meal and a brew that I can make, you know, anywhere along the hike. Typically, like the other day when we got up to the forestry tower and we're sitting on the windy point there, it's great to you know, you're halfway through your hike, make a brew, make some cup of soup, so carb up on, or in this case, I also have some hot chocolate. So, you know, if you got the kids with you and whatnot, then why not bring some hot chocolate? Sometimes it's just something for a change. Whatever your poison is, essentially. So I typically carry that inside of a dry bag. So inside of this dry bag, it's really great to have one because not only can you just kind of keep things together and then not everything's at the bottom of your pack and you're rifling around or or pockets or whatnots. So I typically bring a dry bag for obvious reasons: keep things dry, keep things together. So keep your tea nice and dry so it's not soaking wet on a nasty day. If you do get soaking wet, I typically bring. This is the larger one, but I also have a smaller one inside of here. One or two of these microfiber towels comes with me. So if I know I'm going to be doing some water crossings, I'm not wanting to get my boots and socks soaking wet, then I'll bring the bit larger one, or I got the smaller one for this, that, or whatever. A million different things. Just washing up on the trail or whatnot. But that's why I bring that. Also bring a handkerchief. This is an old school military triangular, so that kind of goes with me everywhere. You can make a handkerchief out of it. You can head bandana, clean up with it. Lots of different uses for that. So for nighttime, you never know when you're going to be on the trail a little longer than expected. So I bring with me a headlamp. So this is just the Petzl headlamp. Open it up here for you. So yeah, if you never know if you're going to be on the trail longer than you thought. So I'll bring that. This one's got the red filter on it for keeping your night vision intact. But yeah, you never know when you get turned around. Have an issue, you're coming out of the trail later than you expected. What's next? Tools. So don't forget, there's always the possibility you're gonna be fixing something up. So I bring with me a multi-tool. So my preference is the Leatherman Wave. So I keep this one with me at all times. It's good beefy Leatherman. It's got everything you're going to need on it. Good old set of pliers, another sharp knife, saws, screwdrivers. You just never know when you're going to need a little bit of extra tools on the trail. The next is be able to make some fire. So I bring with me, again, you saw there's just a loose lighter that I had inside the pack. Then I bring one that's waterproof. It's got this rubberized coating on it that you can buy. You put the old Bic lighter inside there. Bic lighter is man's greatest invention of instant fire with a flick of a thumb. So this one keeps it waterproof so you don't get the flint wet. You're trying to dry that out when you need it the most. And it also provides a little bit if you happen to drop it or something. It's good blaze orange. So that's that. As well as, and again, you for day hikes and whatnot, you could probably get away with one lighter, but I tend to always keep with me this Strike Force, so basically flint and steel with me. So I keep that with me. It's just one of those things where it is a little bit more weight. This one's a little on the hefty size, but I just know it's always going to work, right? It's basically flint, steel, and strike with it. It takes a bit of know-how and the right size, tinder, and dryness to get this to work properly. So it takes a little bit of skill and practice, but this is one of those bomb-proof. It's going to work. You don't have to worry about technology failing you now. And the last little thing in my bag here is some paracord. Always awesome, excellent idea to have some paracord with you. Anything from broken laces to fixing up your pack or something like that, to stringing a clothesline to dry some stuff off, making shelter. I'll go on and on and on. Great thing about paracord is if that's too big, the actual diameter of paracord, you can actually divide it in the inner core is made up of a number of smaller strands, and you can, if that's what you need for whatever delicate thing you're trying to repair, fix, etc., you can do that. And that, because it's got an outer sheath and a core that's made up this way, it's super strong, so you can do a lot with paracord. The next thing in here, and probably one of the very important things to make sure you've got with you, is your good old ouch pouch or first aid kit, or IFAK, or individual first aid kit. In a previous video, I've actually gone over a number of different sizes and things to throw in. So this one right now is scaled down from the videos I was showing you, just for day hiking. So again, everything's just for day hiking. So what I have in here, so I'll start on the outside actually. So on the back, on the Velcro here, I've got a tourniquet, a quick deployable tourniquet. You could say that's a bit of overkill for a day hike, but it's so light and just kind of sticks there, not going anywhere. I'd prefer to have one kicking around than not. On the outside here, just on the zippers, I've got some hand sanitizer, because obviously you're going to be dealing with boo-boos and whatnot, so clean your hands up before you're taking care of somebody, or you're cleaning your own wounds. Ouch. And then a whistle. If you need to call for help, track somebody's attention, we've got a whistle right on the outside there. Inside, again, it's pared down. I don't have a ton of stuff inside this one right now. Basic wound care, blister management, etc. Tweezers for I got some tick tweezers in there, as well as I'm gonna, if you're pulling slivers or whatnot, a little bit of some gloves if you're taking care of somebody else, and then your tape and your miscellaneous bandages. So just very basics. Again, trying to keep it light and not go too overboard on everything. I've just kept it with that stuff inside. Again, refer to my other video with regards to what you can fully fit out an IFAK kit with. What else we got in here? Well, the one last thing I had, and I had it over there in the holder, is your bear spray. Like I said, I keep it in my thigh pocket. Highly recommend that you have a holster for it, or one of those waistbands for it, so you can have easy access to it. So it is the number one way to deter bears and other wild animals that are going to be wanting to approach you. Once you've tried to scare them off and they're still insistent on approaching, or heaven forbid you've scared a bear or a grizz, then have this handy, because this does work. There's studies that have shown that everybody wants to carry a weapon or whatnot, that the bear spray is actually far more effective than, again, even I don't carry bear bangers with me anymore, because it takes so long to get them deployed and whatnot, that the air horn is far better. And then last line of defense is the bear spray. So have that handy, have that with you, and carry it with you for all those seasons when the bears are out. So the other thing that I would recommend is a compass. So an actual manual compass, not an electronic version, to carry with you, so that again it's not tech driven, it's not relying on a battery. Basically have your map with you, printed out. I know that we all use apps now, All Trails and stuff like that, which is all great, but technology can let you fail you. So make sure you've got, if you haven't been on that trail before, have that map, have a compass, so at least you can navigate your way out and you're not getting turned around. On that note, I am guilty of just like everybody else, I'm using my phone more and more and more with regards to navigation communications in the backwoods. I carry an iPhone with me, and I can now do satellite messaging. So if I'm out of cell service, I can send a message to family, friends, you know, with pins and get help if needed. And of course, I use the All Trails app, and it's basically downloadable map, and then it basically shows you where you're at, and you can follow the trail by looking at your downloaded map and where you're at. Again, that's all great as long as you've got battery life, and your technology is going to work. You know, you got clear view to the skies, etc. But don't rely on it 100%. It's great to have, super efficient, but make sure you've got some backups so that you can get out even on a day hike. I do carry with me, on that note, a spare battery. If I'm using the phone for navigation purposes and whatnot, I'll bring a portable battery device so I can plug in the phone and keep it going. Outside of that, again, it's supposed to be a day hike thing. It's, you know, you want to keep comfortable and whatnot. So I don't take a ton. That's probably more than most people take. But again, you know, I'm medic on the trail. I want to be able to help somebody. I like to have a brew halfway through the hike. So there's some things here that you can add or subtract. I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments about day packs in the comments section, about what do you carry, what would you recommend as an addition or a deletion, or have you got some new ideas that I haven't even thought of yet? I'd love to hear from you. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button, notifications, subscribe, please. It helps grow this channel. I want to do more and more videos, and it really helps me and this channel grow, to get it out to a wider audience. So appreciate that. Appreciate you staying all the way to the end, and stay safe out there on those trails. Goodbye for now.